So today we're going to be looking at power, and in particular looking at Bryson Dechambeau and Wilco Nienber. I don't know how you quite pronounce his name, but we're going to look at those two guys who are two of the longest hitters on the European and PGA Tour and in the world of golf at the moment, competitive golf, not long drive guys, exclude those, and look at a couple of things that they do that we can learn from in order to maybe give you a few more yards in your game. Now, I know I particularly would like a few more yards in my game, especially as I get a little bit older. So I'm sure most of us would obviously welcome a few more yards if we can get them, especially if it means not doing too much work in terms of getting to the gym and changing how our body maybe looks and feels. So a way of increasing our distance by working on a few little things technically to help improve our speed and power through the golf ball. Keep watching to learn from those two great players. So distance, it's really something that everyone likes to have more of, and it's something that's talked about a lot on the TV these days, how far these guys hit the golf ball, and they do hit the golf ball extremely long distances now. If you're not hitting the ball over 300 yards these days, you're considered to be short. Whereas go back probably 5-10 years ago, if you got to 300 yards, there was only a selection of few players that got over 300 yards. So it's massively changed, and the consistency in how much further people hit it is massively better. In terms of how it helps you, obviously if you're hitting shorter clubs into the green, your dispersion to the flag will be less, therefore you'll have shorter putts, therefore you'll lower your scores. It's just simple maths. And the other thing to look at from a course management point of view is if you can bypass a lot of trouble off the tee by hitting the ball further, as in carry bunkers at 240 yards, 250 yards, 260 yards, whatever that threshold will be for you, it means you bypass a lot of trouble. And depending on what tees you play off, the trouble is normally set up on most golf course designs from 230 to 260, 260 being kind of for the longer hitters. So if you're playing off the front tees and you can hit it 240, 250 in the air, you can probably bypass quite a bit of trouble unless the hole's been designed particularly well. So when we look at Bryson Dechambeau, obviously he's done a bit more of a physical transformation, but also if we look at Wilco, the guys, they have a slight tendency to the golf swing, which I want to share with you, a slight commonality that I think we can all learn from. Now, traditionally, and I'm guilty of this as a golf coach, I like to see my golf guys, my golf players, have their lead arm pretty much parallel with their shoulder line, there or thereabouts. That's kind of why I class as the kind of nice, optimal position to allow then the body and arms to work together on the way down and to get you what I would class as in a very orthodox and pretty and on-plane position. Now these two guys both get the lead arm higher than that, and the trail arm, importantly, gets at least a parallel to the ground with the tricep, sometimes higher. So the shoulder plane will be very similar, but the arm travel is definitely more up and definitely longer. And those two things are very important. Having a longer arm travel creates more natural speed, it's a wider, longer arc. Having the arms up more means they've got to go down more. And when you start to go up and down, you create a little bit more vertical force into the ground, which then as a byproduct helps you push off the ground. So you get a bit more of that ground force reaction that people talk about, using the ground more. So essentially what I'm saying to you, it depends what you need, right? What you should do. If you've got loads and loads and loads and loads of power, getting the lead arm parallel to the shoulder line is actually really good for consistency and accuracy. Getting the lead arm higher than that, and the trail arm certainly at least parallel to the ground, is going to add power, speed, and dynamics and make you use the ground more naturally. So depending on what you need in your game, you can actually cater this to suit different things. But I would say to us, most of us, feeling that the arms go up a little bit and allow them then to come down and shallow is a good feel and a good look. When you tend to get the arms coming down as well, you'll tend to find you'll be more patient and the weight won't race forward too quickly and you won't spin out too early, especially with the torso. And if we look at Wilco in particular, his hands get very, very low in this delivery position. very, very low. So the ground force reaction is huge, I would say. I've never obviously measured him, and I probably never will measure him on force platforms, but I would imagine his ground force reaction would be really, really high. He hits the ball absolutely miles. So does Bryson. When they're getting these arms higher as well, if anything, the club tends to get a little bit cross-lined. I particularly don't like the cross-line look, but again, when you're trying to get these arms up, the connection between the arms and the body sometimes isn't as connected as when you get these arms in that lower position. So just bear in mind that. So it's something you can do, and it might make your swing look a little bit uglier, but it might give you that extra power. So, you know, we want the shoulder line to point in its tilt, and then the arms to feel like they go a little bit higher than that. And as I said, the big one really is that trail arm. Get that trail arm high and proud each and every time. So speed and power. Every mile an hour of extra club head speed you put into the golf ball, you're going to get 2.5 yards to 3 yards more distance. It's quite a lot. If you can then get 3 more miles an hour club head speed, you're talking pretty much close to a club. And again, the dispersion factor in distances, how you hit the ball from the flag, will change and knock onto the thing. As I said earlier, hitting it further off the tee also bypasses a lot of crap off the tee. So if we can take crap out of play, you can stand on the tee and really just give it a bash and really be really confident and trustworthy with your technique to hit the ball absolutely miles. So a great way of feeling these arms working more up is to use your trail hand only. And when you swing back, let the trail hand go real high. Now I know I might be over exaggerating how high I want this to actually look and be, but it's a way of feeling it. Then put the lead hand back on and try and feel you doing the same move. And ideally you've got to marry that arm kind of lift with rotation, and as I said, we don't want to lose the tilt too much. We want it to be matched. We don't want it to be a ridiculously big arm lift and no turn. That doesn't work for anyone. Okay, let's have a go at a shot trying to get these arms up. Definitely felt a little bit more lifty to me, and the problem with my golf swing is I do lift a little bit with my rotation anyway, because my flexibility in my spine isn't quite good enough, unfortunately. A bit crooked in terms of how I rotate, but definitely felt like I got extra dynamics of moving those arms up. So don't be scared to try it. Don't be scared to try it on the range, and then when you go to the course, feel a bit more normal. And we hope that it influences you a tiny bit, and it's not like two separate different golf swings. It's just a case of influencing you naturally. Have a go and let me know down below how it improves or changes you, if you like it or you don't like it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video looking at really what we can learn from Bryson and Wilco and how they hit the ball so far, and a couple of things we can do to try and make inroads into creating more distance without really changing too much in our golf swing or in our physical being. If you did, please click like and share the video. Also, please chat below, ask any questions, ask any, put any comments or feedback down in the video. Also, please follow or subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification, because that means you'll get the notifications every time I launch a new video on YouTube. So lastly, thank you for tuning in today at the Frost of Arden. Hope to see you back here real soon.